Welcome to our sixth edition of Ask the Tipples. This episode is just singular. Ask the Tipple. My oldest son is working at Texas Roadhouse. My wife went to pick him up, and my youngest just went in the house. He said he's not interested in doing this tonight, that Colson's the star of the show. But I did want to address, we've got about 4 questions in the last couple days, so I thought we'd get those in this episode. And again, I appreciate everyone that's sending in questions. We're going to continue to do this through the summer months, and students are turning their Chromebooks in. They're not able to watch this on Schoology, but again, we're putting them out on YouTube. We now have a Facebook page specifically called Ask the Tipples, so you can look at episodes there. Our first question comes from Robbie Mills. I think Robbie has asked a question before. He's from Farmland, Indiana, and he is a fellow gearhead. And his question is, when did you guys start the Clutter Monkey business? Robbie, I think it was about maybe 3 years ago, maybe 4. But initially we had a store in the old Townsend building, downtown Parker. Had a lot of room. It was an old bank building. And then the owners kind of changed directions of what they wanted to do with the building, so we had to clear that out. And most of the items that we cleared out has sat in storage, in multiple storage units. My 2.5 car garage, or 3 car garage, and another garage that I have. And I've been really wanting that stuff out of there. And so we recently were able to move into a very small venue, just actually diagonal across from where we first were located. But it was over a year where we were just in a holding pattern. And now we've got that store open back up. I hope that once things get back to a little more normalcy, we can once again get students up there in the afternoons to stock shelves and interact with customers and count money, count change. Really, this idea, and those of you going, what is this Clutter Monkey thing I've heard them mention? It's really a neat business model. What we do is if someone calls us and says, hey, we have a shed, we have a garage, we have a home that we're wanting cleaned out, and we don't want this stuff. Or they'll say, hey, there's some stuff we want. Can we stand there and tell you what to take and whatnot? And we'll check it out, and if it's something that we think we can use, we'll go free of charge. And we'll take. We have an old, what used to be the school band trailer. The marching band got a new trailer, so we'll take the old trailer and we'll just load all that up, load everything, and then the students will sort it. Anything that we can sell for scrap, we do. Anything that we can clean up, repurpose, fix up, goes into the store. And then 100% of what we sell, the profits, we pay rent. Obviously, right now we're paying also rent on some storage units. But 100% of the profits goes right back to kids. And we've been able to do some really cool things for students. Equipment for classrooms. We bought some tennis shoes for a student whose only pair of shoes were falling apart. There was a student who's wheelchair bound that's never been able to feed herself. And the teachers came to me with a catalog with a spoon that was bent at a 45-degree angle, and I think the spoon cost $35. And they said, obviously this isn't something that we can normally afford in our budget. Is this something that Clutter Monkeys would purchase? We think that it might be useful. And so I said, absolutely. And the coolest thing, the day it came in the mail, I took it down to the room, and within a half an hour they called me back. They said, Mr. Tipple, you've got to come down here. And she was feeding herself with that spoon. We were able to help a family that had a tragedy pay a house payment. We've bought food and clothes for families. We've bought Christmas gifts for a family. We've just been able to do a lot of cool things. We've also been able to use some of that money to help with another program that we started in the last couple of years called the Renaissance Program. And the Renaissance Program is through Jostens, but we recognize students for attendance, academics, behavior, character, and we do 9-week and semester awards and different things. We've got a program called the Brown and Gold Card, and Color Monkey sponsored those cards. And if a kid earns those cards, there's some privileges that they can get through that. So just a lot of things that we've been able to do with that program. So I'm really happy. There's so much more we can do, and I hope it continues to grow. And like I said, right now our space is kind of small, but at least we're starting to move some of that stuff, and we're able to continue to pay the bills and also have some money to use for really cool things with students. So thanks, Robbie, for that question. The next question comes to us from Mr. Aaron Groves. Aaron Groves is a high school history teacher at Cowan High School. And his question is, what was the worst punishment you ever received from your parents as a kid? Interesting question. And I think he wanted all of us to answer that. And unfortunately, I'm the only one answering questions tonight. So let me see. Worst punishment. Well, I grew up in the time where kids still got spanked. And my mom used a lot of things: spank us, fly swatters, yardsticks, those canes that you get at the fair. I can think of when you go to the fair, and I remember my parents, walking down certain aisles at the fair, and they're getting talking to politicians and getting fly swatters and yardsticks, and I'm thinking, oh crap, I know what those are for. But I think the worst thing is when your parents use your own toys. I got hit a few times with a Hot Wheel track. It really stings, but also it hurts because it's your toy. So, but I think that's probably the worst. It didn't happen a lot, but more so it was just, threatening, hey, get this room cleaned up, or here's what's going to happen. All right, Rosanna Canfield sent a question in. She says, in the past few weeks, she's been thinking a lot about family parties that haven't been able to happen because of the coronavirus. So her question, she's wondering, what are some of your favorite family traditions? Certainly one that comes to mind first is we take a family trip to the Charleston, South Carolina area every summer. And that's an extended group. It includes my in-laws, most of the time my brother-in-laws and their families. Sometimes it includes other people from our church. My parents have went in the past. Some of my wife's aunt and uncles have went in the past. Now all of our kids and their families. So it's just a great time down there. It's kind of like a second home. And my wife's family's been doing it for probably 40 plus years, and my wife and I have been married for 32 years now, so I've been a part of that since we were married. So it's just a great time. The kids enjoy it. There's a lot of things, whether if you like to go to the beach, go golfing. I really like to go to a lot of the just antique stores, and there used to be kind of a architectural salvage place that I really like to go to down there. And then every night there are certain restaurants that we all kind of do our own things during the day, and then all of us eat together every night. So that's an awesome tradition. Obviously, my family and my wife's family are big on trying to get together for holidays, whether it's Memorial Day, 4th of July, Thanksgiving, Christmas. So those are certainly traditions that I enjoy as well. I'm sure there's others, but those are the ones that come to mind. So thanks, Rosanna, and hopefully here soon we start to get to have some more of those My mom's side of the family always has typically a big family reunion that we've done, and that's always fun to get to see kind of that extended second, third cousin kind of thing there. So, all right, the last question for the night comes from one of my car club buddies, the Muncie Volkswagen Club. Ron Martz says, "Do you always name your cars, and how do you come up with the names?" Well, yeah, I guess I do, Ron, and those names come in different forms. I remember the first car I ever had when I was 16 was a 76 Chevy Chevette. Of course, I just told people I had a vet, but that car's name was Betsy, and I can't really remember how Betsy got her name, but yeah, I think it started there. Sometimes cars just speak to you. When I got the 65 Beetle, the factory color is Java Green and Java Bean. I think one of my friends suggested that, and I said that kind of fits. It's a little bean. Before that, I had a 1950 Chevy, and the Nifty 50 just kind of made sense for that. And then I remember when I went to look at my 68 Campmobile. It had been in a barn for 16 years. It was covered in dust, but the first thing I remember noticing about it is there's a decal in the back window just of Jerry Garcia's face. And then when I bought it and I started cleaning it out, I found out that the previous owner had taken it several times to Grateful Dead concerts. I found ticket stubs. I found some camping information about Deer Creek. It was called Deer Creek then, for the Grateful Dead shows. And I actually found a pipe and some rolling papers and some other paraphernalia in there. So I thought it is fitting that this thing have a name, and that name is Garcia. So my bus is named Garcia. But yeah, over the years I've had other cars and just typically have names. It's easier to tell the kids, hey, go out in Garcia and get this or whatever, than go out to the bus. And anyways, so yeah, so some again are based on maybe what it looks like or the color or kind of some history, but yeah, I think cars have personalities, and it's kind of fun to refer to them. Is that called personification? Maybe, I don't know. I wasn't an English teacher, but anyways, good question. Again, if you've got questions, students, I know you won't be able to submit those using Schoology through the summer because you'll be turning your Chromebooks in here next week, but you can go on Facebook. If you search at Ask the Tipples, all one word, capital A, capital T, capital T, you'll be able to find our Facebook page, and you can message through there. You can certainly leave comments on there with questions. I still have my email, school email. It's kirbyt@monroecentral.org, and you can certainly send questions that way as well. So we're going to continue to try to do this throughout the summer, as long as we keep getting questions. So have a great evening. Have a good day tomorrow.